Aloha! You're
Alo-
watching Cooler Talk
Aloha. It's so
with
good to be
Rhonda.
back. And if either of us look thirsty to you, you're welcome to buy us a cup of coffee. We both
It's that
drink it.
time of day.
Mm, I know. Gosh. So, welcome to Cooler Talk with Rhonda and Cynthia. Cynthia, I'd like to thank you again for going solo last week. I just thought you did a beautiful job talking about going within and coming from our hearts. Yeah, yeah. What a difference, huh? Than when we think with our heads
Yeah,
versus going inside our heart. It's so much
yeah,
calmer in there, isn't it?
yeah, for sure. And
It's
that book, I don't even know if I mentioned the title of the book from last week. I'm in the final chapters now, wrapping it up by Eckhart Tolle
I
called,
really like him. What's
yeah,
that?
I do too. He's an angel among us. Um, that book is called A New Earth. Um, oh shoot, I can't remember what the subtitle is, but it's A New Earth. And it's a really heart led book. Definitely, I highly recommend it. In fact, I mean, The Power of Now used to be one of my favorites, and this book is right up there next to it, in my top five books, probably.
Yeah, I really like him. I resonate with what he says a lot.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I really do. So, Cynthia, this week's topic is keeping your goals alive. Since you came up with the topic, I'd love it if you started.
Well, here we are, mid February, and I realize that this is about the time of year where I am not sure that I'm in line with my goals or doing my goals. Like somehow life has kind of taken hold again. And we talked about our goals and goal setting and that we do it light for 2023. And so I think that was one of the things that I wanted to just reflect on. Are we still keeping in line and holding true to our intentions, or are we slipping, and could this be a good time to give ourselves a gentle reminder and a nudge to just
Well,
get back on track?
it's similar to budgeting.
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah,
There's flexibility in there. We can move things around.
yeah,
We can adapt, adjust,
yeah,
refocus, and
yeah.
nobody says everything has to be done today.
No, and you know what, you're the boss of your life.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
you
You think,
know
I wonder, you know, I did not realize it. There was a point in my life when I was much younger that I didn't realize I was the boss of my own life.
yeah, I think a lot of us need to be reminded,
Yeah,
right?
I think so too.
And I think we also need to like remind ourselves that you know, we can be easier on ourselves.
Yeah.
It can be okay if we like slip on our deadlines, that like if I woke up today, like it's just another chance for me to like get back on track on whatever that priority was. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
You
So I
know.
can tell you one of my intentions that I've been slipping on.
Okay, go for it.
And that intention actually is, it's funny because I remember it specifically because I think I haven't really been doing it. And that is the gentle intention of getting out more.
Oh gosh, you and me both.
You know? I mean,
Yeah.
granted, the weather hasn't been cooperative, but come on.
Well, I took a baby step this past week,
Uh-huh.
And of course, 90% of the time it's cloud cover.
Hmm.
And
Here too.
to me, it looks like manufactured cloud cover, but that's another topic for another day. Um, um, and but we had a few days of sunshine in there in the morning.
Hmm.
So on my front stoop, which is covered, um, I would that sun would come out, and at a certain time, it hit straight on the stoop every morning. So I was going out there for about every chance I have for 30 minutes just to be outside.
Nice.
And boy, what a difference that made.
Yeah.
And I closed my eyes, and I swear I saw sparkles in my eyes when they were closed from receiving the sunlight. Um,
Nice.
but yesterday morning was really, really windy, but it wasn't on my little stoop. So there I sat,
Yeah. Oh,
middle of
nice. That's
February.
really nice.
Yeah. So, and I was thinking about that. It's time to get out. So
Hmm.
I am getting out tomorrow, and I have a social engagement Saturday with a group of ladies. So, yeah.
Very
Um,
nice.
yeah. So tell me some more about why you're not getting out enough.
Well, actually, I've just been letting work kind of nudge its way to the top of my priorities list, which is not where it belongs.
Hmm.
And luckily, I do have some wonderful souls around me who have their ways of reminding me. And actually, I would say last weekend was the first, actually, no, 2 weekends ago, my husband and I, we went for a walk. We probably walked about 5K, which is not a lot, but considering how cold it was, it felt like a lot. And I think that's when I first was like,
Yeah.
oh, think I think I had an intention to get out more, and this is feeling very new. This is feeling like a strange, new experience, right? So I think that was kind of what I was like, I need to like go back to my intentions and
Excellent.
redo that.
I love it. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah,
Yes, when we
yeah.
were talking before, I mentioned to you about my goals board, which has been up here since oh 2000 September 2004. That's how long it's been on this board up here.
That's like 19 years, nearly
Yeah,
19 years.
and I have had 20 items on that goals board,
Hot
and
dog.
there's only what did I say? Oh, wait a minute. One, two,
You
three.
said it was four, I think?
Yeah, I only have four that are not completed, but I
Out
really
of
need,
20.
yes. And I just crossed them off and put the date I fixed them. So, but I haven't looked much at it lately. Um, and what I've done over the years is I set that intention, I set that goal, and I don't put a date on it. I just put it on the list. This is what I
Uh-huh.
want to do.
Uh-huh.
And then it just happened.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I feel pressure if I pay attention to those goals too much.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, whenever I can get to it, I want to do that. This is what I want to do. So I think it's up time to update that. And most of it was like home related things and repairs and stuff. So, um, but
I'm
there's something about having that list and being able to literally draw a line through things as you finish them.
mhm.
Um, and there's for me, there's no pressure. Okay, I know
Yeah.
that needs to be done. When I can do it, I'll do it and get it
Yeah.
done. So yeah.
Well, I'm really glad though that you talk about that you talk about that you feel pressure when you look at the list too much or if you like
Yeah.
focus on them too much. And I think that's kind of maybe that's really the point of this talk, Rhonda. So thank you so much for, just kind of ticking off that box. But I think that's kind of the crux of like keeping our goals alive is if we pay like almost too much attention to it and kind of like invest all of our energy and desire and hope and everything into those goals, it kind of keeps you from being in the present, seeing
Mhm.
like the good things that are around you, and it has you keeping score so much
Oh,
that like you can't even notice like the things that are happening
yes.
because you're just focused on what's not happening to that goal.
Yes, I'm with you. It's about as far away from being in the present that you can get.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's like the that's the not the magic. That's like the secret to keeping your goals alive, right? It's like setting it and then forgetting it.
That works for me. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually what's I think really cool about the set it and forget it, let's say strategy to keeping your goals alive is that when you stumble on maybe like, a notepad where you wrote your intentions down or you're bored because let's be honest, like we tend to ignore the things that we see on a daily basis around us, like paintings and photographs and things. But then that one day that you look at it again and you're like, holy moly, there are things I can cross off of this list. And the sense of accomplishment that you have for even if like the goal has come and gone, it's already passed months ago, but like just the sense of being able to be like, done.
It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sure is.
That's really cool. Is there something on your board that like kind of makes you glow or makes you feel good that like, oh, that was
Well,
something that mattered to me.
a couple of them, buying a new car was one. Paying off certain bills was another. And I that's my most favorite one these days.
Uh-huh.
Painting different rooms, taking the time to do that. Um, and yeah,
That's
so
nice.
yeah.
You seem to be investing yourself into like creative yet functional outlets.
Yes, yes. Now, what I need to re-add to that list is finish painting my kitchen cabinets. I have the
Oh,
bottom part finished, and I've actually changed my mind. I was gonna do two different colors, and now I'm just gonna keep it all the same. I have to finish that job before I can install my flooring in my
right.
kitchen. So that's on my list. So yeah, I think maybe today's a good day to update that list. We might
Cool.
even start writing some things down as you and I are talking, just to as a little jogger.
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to like, pat you on the back for that car one. Those big purchase goals. I have found that when I added them to my list of goals, it didn't have to be a New Year's thing. It could have been, for
Right.
any purpose.
Yeah,
But when I add like those big purchases ones, they always feel so weighty,
I
you know.
know.
They almost feel like like as you write it, you're kind of like, all right, here we go. Like it feels almost like jumping off a cliff or something, you
It
know.
really does.
And so it's funny because like we put so much like I said, you put so much of your desire into the moment of writing down that goal, right?
Yes.
And then when it actually happens, you're kind of like, I'm in my new car now. Like, yes, you're
Yeah.
excited or whatever, but
All
like,
right. Check it off.
check it off, right? And like, all of a sudden, it's like, okay, that you almost had the attitude like, oh, that wasn't such a big deal, and it's like, you
Yeah.
know what though? It felt like a big deal when you originally wrote it on your list.
Oh, I know. Well, I'll tell you what I just wrote down at the top of the list was I want to go horseback riding on a beach.
Oh, nice.
So I've been trying to decide where I wanted to go for my birthday this year because I'll be 70.
Uh-huh.
Hard to
Oh, a big
believe.
one.
I
Good.
know. So, okay, I've been researching now for 2 weeks, horseback riding on a beach. My first thought was to go to Jamaica, and it's reasonably priced to go down there. I don't know how safe. I have to check on how safe Jamaica is these days.
Oh, I'm sure if you stay like close to a resort, it should be
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So,
Or yeah,
yeah,
or a
so
resort.
Jamaica it was my first thought.
I'm digging that.
And now I'm researching other areas. The other thing I want to do is train ride through the Rocky Mountains, for through the Canadian Rockies.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah,
It that is season dependent, right? Depending
yeah.
on like when you'd be going.
Well, the timing is good because my birthday's in September.
Oh, okay.
So I like to go after Labor Day because
Mm-hmm.
usually the crowds are gone by then.
Yes.
And one of my daughters of the Nile sisters, who lives in Alberta, invited me to stay at her house on one of the overnights. Was that
Nice.
sweet? That was so generous of her.
Yes.
Um, so uh, but that's on. But the number one thing I really want to do is horseback ride on the beach. That's really what I want to do first.
I like
Or
it.
maybe I'll go back out to the Grand Canyon and do a horseback riding trip down into the valley. Um, I don't feel compelled to do that though.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I'm feeling the beach. That
I'm
was a
feeling the
very
beach too.
specific.
So yeah, what do you know about Jamaica?
Not very much. Actually, it's one of the Caribbean islands that I haven't been to.
Yeah,
Um, but I do know that there are sort of like resort and hotel areas that are generally sort of protected against, let's say, some of the rougher parts of the island,
right, like Mexico.
like Mexico. I
Yeah,
think the DR is kind of the same. And then there are some other islands that are generally more safe across the island.
right.
But
Or I could
um,
go to Cancun. Um,
Cancun or Isla Las Mujeres. That's just off the coast of Cancun, like off the
oh,
coast of,
really?
yeah. And I think that is pretty much mostly a tourist island. So there really isn't
Cool.
any, I mean, it's just like Cancun.
How do you spell that?
Isla, second word is
Oh, it's
LAS,
uh-huh.
and the third word is Mujeres. Whew,
Island of the
women.
Mujeres. Oh, cool. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, yeah, you should. That's a really cool one. Actually, I'm glad you mentioned it because I told a girlfriend that I would. She's on a break right now. She's in Morocco, and I told her that I would be deciding on what I'm going to be doing this summer for the summer break, and I think I have decided to go on a cruise. So that is going to be the top large purchase to go on my list.
Yeah.
that
Oh,
that's
nice.
that's gonna feel like jumping off a cliff as I write it down, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure
Cool.
it out.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
very
I
cool.
really liked what you said. It's really encouraging, Rhonda, the way that you said that it's just like budgeting, because it
Yeah.
is.
Hmm.
It's really just about like allocating your priorities, rejiggering your priorities, and then like just organizing around your priorities, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
So, oh, good. Very good. So, yeah, that's I don't have any, the Grand Canyon was my biggest bucket list item. But you know what? The other thing I want to do is I want to go see the sequoias.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's another place I'm thinking of horseback riding.
That's lovely. I think you need to maybe just come up with a horseback riding bucket list.
Yeah, I know. Before my body can't do it anymore.
Yeah. Even you'll figure it out when your
I
body
will.
can't do it anymore.
Yeah, nothing. Nothing. It's. I really wanted though that riding on the beach has been a childhood fantasy of mine, and Jamaica looks like a nice place to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll
A
see.
nice place.
We'll see. So
I'm thinking like, I don't think they would have something like that, for example, in the Maldives. I don't really know. I don't think there are any like horses or, like farm stock there
where?
in the Maldives. Because I know that like
Jamaica.
many of the
Oh,
islands have
Maldives.
that, yeah, horseback riding because a lot of times it'll be something that they do for weddings and wedding shoots and things like that. So a lot
Right.
of beach locations have that offering, but I don't think the Maldives
Yeah.
does. So
I know I checked it out already. However, all those little lights, those
uh-huh.
firefly lights or something, whatever that is in the water, looks fantastic.
It is it's kind of like just even flying over it to get to where you gotta go. It looks like some kind of outer space waterscape.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just,
I saw pictures.
yeah, it's just,
Unbelievable. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, who knows? Woo-doo-doo-doo.
Ooh. Yeah, there are a lot of, there's just so many beautiful parts of
I,
this planet,
I know.
and
They really
actually
are.
many of them are always closer than we are ready to acknowledge,
Yeah, for sure.
you know.
So keeping your goals alive. Yeah, just write them down.
Write them down.
Write them down, check them off.
Write them down, check them off. Maybe clump them so that like the one doesn't seem so big and hairy.
Uh, no, I like listing them out.
Hmm.
Because if I have some little extra in my budget, I'm like, oh, what's on my list?
Oh,
What can I do?
yeah,
It
it's
makes it
interesting.
fun. Because then I can pick and
Everybody's
choose.
so different, right? Like, I'm not
Yeah,
a list person. Like, I mean, I work with lists and I keep track of them and I
right.
do a daily list, but I find lists a little bit constricting
Yes,
and
they are constricting. I don't do a
overwhelming.
daily to-do list anymore. I just have general things that need to be done.
Uh-huh.
And because I found out when I uh, try to put it into a specific time frame, I don't do any of them.
Right. Yeah. I tend to like clump things like if I write about, or sometimes I'll just like doodle the idea. And then I tend to just rip them out. I don't have a cork board now, but when I did, I used to like rip it out and stick it up there. Oh, and post-it notes. I actually, my
Oh,
husband won't let me buy post-it notes anymore.
I had to throw mine out.
Yeah.
This because it got crazy.
Yeah. My
Which
husband
one
was
do I
like,
look at first
no.
now? Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, I'll have to
Yeah.
work on my list again.
I mean, I like them and I would still use them if I were allowed to have them in the house because I like the fact that you can unstick them and restick them. So
I
sometimes
know.
I'm like, oh, that one's related to this. And I would stick it in a different place.
Yeah.
And he's just like, this place does not look cool.
But they're very convenient when you're planning though. Yeah, yeah, and for sure. But oh, that probably drove him nuts.
Yeah, he hates them. He hates them.
The
He hates.
clutter.
Yeah, and they do. They kind of collect dust, and
Yeah. Or
it's
fall
just
down,
that.
fall off.
Yeah. Well, usually when they start falling, it's like this is already done. This is like
Yeah.
you ignored it for so long. But yeah, yeah. You see, I'm still trying to defend the post-it notes I don't have. So,
Oh,
but yeah,
you're
I doodle
funny.
on them the whole 9 yards. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Oh gosh.
But I like horseback riding in Jamaica. I think that's. I
Yeah,
think.
that one, I can feel that one. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, I feel the energy associated with that one. So maybe I'm gonna have to pursue that a little further. Galapagos Islands was another one, and then I thought, no, that's a little out of my budget for 8 months from now.
Yeah, and the weather is kind of like very unpredictable, is what I hear.
In Galapagos,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's not one of those like it's likely to be warm or it's likely to have no rain. It's one of those like you can have all of the weather in a day, every day.
Okay. Now Costa Rica was another option. Um, that one was an option. But I don't know why.
Jamaica's calling you.
Oh, by the way, that and maybe this is synchronicity, but the Jamaicans talk very fast, and it's like you you can't even interrupt them. Now I had to call a cab to get home from the hospital last week.
Mhm.
So the cab driver here, I'm there. Oh my God, that's a Jamaican guy. I wonder if he's gonna keep talk the whole time
Uh-huh.
because they have very strong accents and they
Uh-huh.
say a lot, which drives me nuts. Um, but uh, but very clear, concise instructions. Well, no, we're not going anywhere until you get cash and give me a deposit. Apparently, he's been ripped off a few times. That's terrible. Of
Oh,
course, I'm not that kind of person, so I wouldn't think of that.
right.
So here he takes me into the inner city, into a gas station. Now, you got to understand, I'm in my nightgown and robe with a coat over me
Uh-huh.
because the ambulance people said, no, you're not going to change. You're coming with us right now. And so I get out of the car, go into the gas station. They're all looking at me like, what the?
With her house slippers and
Yeah, no, I had my sandals on,
okay.
but yeah, it was kind of comical. Um, and so I got it. Craig goes, "You live way out there," and I'm like, "It's 10 miles away," And he was like very grandiose about it. Well, you better take $100 out. I don't know how much his fare is going to cost. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, holy, and I'm there. I don't even care at this point. I'm not calling anybody. I just want to go home. I mean, I'm
Right.
sitting in the ER for 6 hours, and after 5 hours, I asked the nurse. I said, "May I go home?" Um, so it was just hurry up and wait. But it was worth it because when you go in like that, they give you a complete workup. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really a complete workup. So and if that was a mild case of
Uh-huh.
COVID,
Wow.
and I'm like, oh my god, this was mild.
Right. Yeah.
But I
That's
checked
horrible.
out, fortunately, got home with some instructions, and all I had to do was, he goes, "You're probably going to sleep for the next 5 days."
So
And
did he know about any horseback riding in Jamaica, or was it just the
no,
fact that
I
he was
wasn't
Jamaican?
talking to him. I was giving him directions to get me home because I know the shortcuts.
Right.
So you would have thought I was going to the other side of the county the way he was talking. But he ended up being a nice guy, um, and dropped me off. He actually waited until I got past my garage to the front door before he took off. So I thought that was very nice of him.
Oh,
But
good.
I was just too tired and too sick to have a conversation.
Sure.
But I got it, and then after I took him down the road, he goes, "Oh, I know this neighborhood," and it was half of what I thought it was going to cost.
Good.
But and then fortunately, since the pandemic, you can have food delivered from just about everywhere now. So I just ordered groceries and had them delivered, and I just drank a whole lot of liquids and rested a lot,
Hmm.
and I'm like, these liquids are going in, but they're not coming out. What is that all about? Well, I must have
Yeah.
been sweating it out.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and I was actually out up 2 days later. I was feeling myself again. I was like, I can't believe this. So,
Yeah.
and I like apple cider vinegar too. And I
Yep.
found this little recipe that helps with respiratory, more allergies than anything, and that really helped. So,
Yep.
um,
Good old Brags.
yeah. So I'm just taking it easy, and but I am going to go out and work tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Look at
Um,
you. You just like back up and at 'em.
well, that's
Well,
day number 10, and the recommendation was 5 days.
okay.
So I decided, no, you know what? I need to slow down anyway. So after on the third day, I started sanitizing things around the house a little at a time.
Nice.
Yeah, that was it. So yeah, that was my goal, was to recover as fast as I could from that.
And it looks like you did. And
I
it also
couldn't.
seems like you recovered completely.
Well, I'm amazed. I'm
Mm,
absolutely amazed at how, and I really think it has to do with the immunity. Um, uh, where is it? I like this stuff.
mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can read it, but essential oils.
Uh-huh.
I swear, I think this is what prevented me from getting it worse,
Mm-hmm.
and it helped in my recovery. Plus the apple cider vinegar, a glass of warm water with 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar and 2 teaspoons of honey,
Yep.
and 3 times a day. So, at plus the supplements I take, I started researching supplements to prevent COVID.
Yep.
So, obviously, quercetin is one that I added. And obviously, I only had a mild case, so I'm attributing it to these preventative measures that I've been taking for the past several months.
Yep. And don't underestimate the importance of inner work.
Oh, I had plenty of that to do. Yeah.
Exactly. And all of the inner work that you've been doing over the past couple
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. And I was listening to 731 megahertz sounds, which is for healing,
Hmm.
and it helps with fighting viruses and, if it, whatever. So I really believe all of those naturopathic things I put together helped out.
For sure.
Really
Well,
do.
you know what, Rhonda?
Yeah, I know.
We are
Me too.
past the hour. So I
Yeah.
think, let's see, we digressed, but no worries there. I'm glad that you recovered and that you managed to keep that goal alive.
Yeah, that was my most immediate goal. Get well fast, as fast as you
Yeah.
can.
And
But yeah.
a success.
Yes. But I'm telling you, I was getting kind of bored. But reading, I could only sit up for so long. But
Yeah.
anyway, well, that was it for today at Cooler Talk with Rhonda and Cynthia. Anytime you folks are welcome to buy us a cup of coffee, uh, help us in our quest for in providing information, sharing our experiences, strengths, and hopes with you. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next week. With that, we're going to sign off and wish you adieu for the moment.
Keep your goals alive. Be gentle on
Yes.
yourself.